Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick, Downton Abbey, the second to last episode, episode 8 of season 6. And we got one down, maybe one to go. We have Mary taken care of.
Yes.
She relents, and because she had 2 conversations which literally no one in that time had ever had. What did she get called? First by Tom?
A coward and a bully by Tom.
Yep.
And
And then finally, a bitch by Lady Edith, and she had that coming. Really, the subtext, I think, of this episode is everyone shut up and listen to Tom.
Yeah.
That's right.
Tom knows.
I think we've known that all along, but finally, like,
especially now,
Yes.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, so Tom really has a nice line there, I think, when he was, when he said, I've done enough matchmaking now.
Yeah.
At this point, because he really, he did. He totally made that happen. And so do we believe, there's an indication that they leave you with that because of Maggie Smith's conversation with Mary, that Mary might have some sort of coming around. They are setting us up to have, if they're going to give us a happy ending. And it is impossible for me to believe, as I told my wife in agony through this episode. She's like, where's Bert? Because I'd say, I think he's probably at the train station. She was like, he's not at the train station. And so I said, look, I will give you $537 in cash, from our joint account, if Bertie and Edith don't end up together. I mean,
Right.
So if that happens, then are we to believe that Mary would have this moment, this personal reckoning? And
I think there's a lot of Mary had it coming going on in this entire episode and the conversation with Tom, and yeah, I think even when Violet kind of lays the smack down, that is not, it's something that's easily ignored,
Well, I think having Violet finally come to and tell them, like, or tell Mary, like, that's a huge moment in itself. To see, Grandma reveal herself in that way is a huge eye opener to Mary, and I think that's kind of what's going to really make her come around. And I think we finally see both of them. All the pretenses lifted away, and all the walls are broken, and we see them for who they are. And I think that was Mary's comeuppance, and we finally get to see that wall crack. And I think it was well earned.
And also, we were giving Tom credit Tom made Violet happen. This guy is he is bypassing the chain of command, like in an incredibly effective way. He's not telling Robert, he's not telling Mary. He's like, I can help these people.
He's the Princess Diana, That's right. I think a lot of these these old inbred families, like, they need a little jolt of some outside blood sometimes to really get things going. He's got all the answers. And then meanwhile downstairs, Daisy, bless her heart, is still kind of like figuring out how, relationships work and how to be nice and how to be understanding to people. And, I think she's getting there. I think she's also, that's going to pay off nicely. I think that as much as she and Andy have gone back and forth in a weird way, I think while he's clearly like shut down and decided, okay, this isn't happening, which of course is stoking her interest, that's bound to kind of come around again as well.
So they're setting up. Like 100 things could go wrong, right?
Sure.
There's no way Bertie doesn't show up, but I keep, I got money on the.
There's a terrible choose your own adventure to be written here if you want to, like,
Right, but Anna could still, she could lose the baby.
Oh, God, no.
Like, it could go one of two ways. It could go a Victorian tragedy, or it can go a romance as you would in the Regency era. Are we going to get everyone gets a happy ending, or is everyone going to lose everything at the end of it all? I don't know.
Well, and even if they do get a happy ending, it's still 1925, which means they've got the crash.
Right, exactly. That's right.
And then in 10 years, we've got the other Great War.
Exactly.
That's right. So a happy ending is temporary.
Well, we do know Mary gets a happy ending, at least.
Mary gets gets a happy ending, and we don't know about Edith, but come on.
I know.
And everybody else, again, they're setting up. They got Mosley set up with
the
Baxter and the school.
I like the whole thing of kind of connecting with the students on a I'm one of you level.
That's right. That was really sweet.
That was nice. the whole thing with Thomas's new gig, like that he got a new gig is great, although it's clearly there's something so sad about that house. It's kind of like when when Alice from the Brady Bunch quit and they got Kay instead, and she was no fun at all. Like he's in this new gig where it's him and two people. There's only two people that live there, and there's a whole story to be told about that couple.
They're miserable.
They're miserable, but you can tell they feel like they have to maintain a certain standard. So even though it's just the two of them, they're still going to have dinner and then go through.
Go through, yeah.
And all that stuff.
I really feel for Tom. I've completely done a 180 with Thomas. I feel for him. I really feel he's come around. I'm on Team Thomas's side now.
I don't know, man. I got it. Like we're all. I mean, we're. Mary and Thomas were. I mean, Mary was more complicated because Mary did many, many kindnesses for people who weren't Edith.
Yeah.
Right? Most of her hideousness involved Edith.
Yes.
Edith in some way.
So she's consistent on that
Yeah,
front.
she's consistent on that part. So easier to believe that you could see the light about one person than Thomas. I mean, Thomas was, vindictive, backstabbing, conniving, devious. Yeah.
I think it's interesting because I was thinking on this, and I believe that his come around is different in that he didn't start doing nice things. I think he had just enough bad things happen that he learned from what it was like to be him. Like, I think he had enough of his own taste of his own medicine that maybe he didn't start, the Mary path where she's, I'm good to the people I love, but Thomas just finally reached that low that I like to think that in the future, Thomas is going to become a better person, but we're just starting to see the beginnings of that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as much as I still I carry a grudge on behalf of all the people that he screwed over. Yes, I think you also do see him kind of coming around and realizing this is no way to go through my life, and I need to have,
they did a bold thing in a sense of a show that was going to seek the audience that, I don't know who the audience is. I'm assuming that they're people like us, but they might not be. I'm sure plenty of conservatives liked this show too. But they could easily have had the fact that he was the evil character and he's the only gay character, right? That was, in a sense, risky because there could have been backlash, and it could have been seen quite justifiably as, so the gay men are catty and bitchy, the evil queer, right? But they really took his, other than as a sad demonstration of his loneliness, like where you ache for him there because you can't, you don't even know how he's going to get out of it. He's going to have to get lucky, right?
Right.
I mean, he's going to have to meet someone in a similar situation willing to engage in that life, and you hope he does. But so it ended up being that, and he just became a bad person who, but coincidentally, happens to be gay, which it didn't necessarily, because that was that gnawed at me a little bit the first couple of seasons.
I feel like even this season, his homosexuality wasn't even a major player. Like, it was an undertone. It's always been an undertone.
It only came up when they had accusations about his intentions toward Andy,
which I think were legitimately pure. Like, if you're to believe that he was trying to turn things around, he had. Well, I can't remember. Was his gaydar good? Did he misread? He misread James.
He misread Jimmy. I think with Andy, he was genuinely just trying to be friendly.
I think he was too. That's what I think too.
And everybody was just like, because not just the gay thing, but just because he's a pain in the ass.
Right. Whatever. This doesn't end well for Andy, who's a nice guy. This is not going to end well for Andy.
Do we think Spratt is gay now? Now that we know that he's the agony aunt.
Well, I think. Yes, I think. If we start looking at his mannerisms through a different prism when we learn that. But also, there was also, I thought, a slight gay reference then to Bertie's.
Oh, totally,
cousin.
yes, and Tangiers.
Tangiers, watching
the fishermen.
and delicate. And he was described as delicate.
Totally. Yeah, that's unquestionable. Yeah, there's some Paul Bowles shit going on there for sure.
So, but I mean, again, I don't want to overly harp on this, but my God, it's hard. It was hard enough in the 1990s.
Yeah.
I mean, this era.
It was hard in a different way in the 1990s, but in the 20s it was.
Right. But I meant socially, not
sure.
Obviously.
No.
That's a whole other issue.
Yeah.
But but just because we forget in all this was criminal.
Yeah.
Right? Like not just lose your job, shunned from society.
Like go to jail. And not even you didn't have to go to jail. You didn't have to do anything to go to jail. Like being gay was already, that was enough.
I think what's really interesting is that in all this, the change, they beat us over the head with this. Change. Oh, we got a hairdryer and a phone and cars and lights.
Yeah.
But through all that, the themes running through this episode, which was one of the great episodes of Downton Abbey. I mean,
the running joke about the House of Ill Repute.
Dude, oh
Just
my
watching
gosh,
everybody
I know.
dying laughing about that was
And
really
everyone but Carson was like, they loved the joke, and Carson's just like, oh, we can't let this tarnish. Are you sure? No.
but look at what there was. I mean, the mere fact that Edith, who was not sleeping around, that was her fiance.
Yes, absolutely.
And he was killed.
Yeah.
By Nazis.
Right, by Nazis. Right, he's killed, and then the House of Ill Repute. But still, this idea that we can't, that Edith is therefore unfit, and it'll be a scandal. And there was another one too, I thought. Anyway, but still, while all these changes are happening, it's a reminder that still 1925, 1920s. Victorian England, and of course the United States too. We were obsessed.
Yeah, one misstep and forget. The Lady Mary and Tony Gillingham.
And Lady Mary and Tony
illicit
Gillingham.
weekend,
Yeah. But because that somehow, and it's not just the lords and ladies. It was Mrs. Patmore too.
Sure.
Well, and there was even the thing that was brought up about Mrs. Patmore's House of Ill Repute and how that would be scandalous, but the upper house, was allowed to have their own scandals. Like there was a line drawn there as well. That
true, but even being the Marquess, which is a bigger deal than being Lord Grantham, as he keeps saying, that they would now be outranked by Edith. Even his homosexuality had to be carried on in another continent and was still like whispered about and this great
but just the
embarrassment.
Level of what scandals were allowed. Like it was okay for a man to be a philanderer if he was of an upper class, but then lower class. It's just the levels there that exist, especially in any sort of royal society. It's so fascinating. It's something I've always loved to study. And Downton, I think, did a fantastic job of displaying that.
Yeah, so they made progress, but still.
Yeah, there was
still a stupid, dumb, backwards place. But man, talk just from an emotional point of view, like my wife, most of the episode yelling. I mean, calling Mary. Mary got called a coward, a bully, and a
bitch.
She was called far worse by Lee Mankiewicz during that episode. Yeah. I was like, wow, you were okay. Usually that word's just reserved for my mother. But anyway, good stuff. I'm anxious.
They made us wait 6 years. It was worth it.
But there's no way, again, $537. No way they don't end up together. No way. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Back next week.
With the last one.